All right, guys, welcome back to the Blue Car Fantasy Football. Got a good one today.
Yeah.
Today we're gonna be going over sell high candidates for Superflex Dynasty. So redraft doesn't apply if you're finding this late. Doesn't apply.
There's some spicy takes in this.
Yeah,
So
we tried to find ones that were interesting.
stick around for it. It's going to be a good one.
It's gonna be a good one, man. All right, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think about these players. If you think that they're holds, they're not sells, let me hear your case, man. I'd love to hear it. I have a couple of these guys on my rosters. So, with that, let's get it cracking.
All right. Let's hit it. So I got some spicy names for you, Dustin.
Who you got for me, man?
We're going to start out with CJ Stroud, the rookie sensation.
Thus, the sensation.
The sensation. Okay, so he finished QB 13. And a lot of that, it was, every rookie has an acclimation period.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you don't expect it right off the bat. Nothing crazy. But he finished QB 13. He's ranked 4th overall in Dynasty. That's a jump. Everyone is projecting him to
break it,
to exceed everything he did last year and then some. And continue to do that for multiple years because we're talking Dynasty.
Yeah, you want that longevity. You want these young players, and he is young.
Yeah, he is young, and he is
22.
He's a pocket passer, so I mean, it is definitely possible.
which I do like for my quarterback for my teams. I do prefer a little bit of safety there.
Yeah, for sure.
Less of an injury risk, things like that.
Yeah, you're not, like Lamar. Lamar could. Well, we saw actually perfect example. We saw Kyler go down with an ACL. In Dynasty, that kills you.
Anthony Richardson,
exactly. So we talk about that 4th overall in Dynasty ranking. Above him, Fantasy Pros has Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. And then tier 2 starts with CJ Stroud.
Yeah, you have him and then the elites.
Yeah. And I mean, those are elites. Those are league winner quarterbacks.
Yes, they're the ones that you almost can't get off of your league mates.
Yes. And just because I just want to preface this whole thing with just because we're saying sell high, it doesn't mean these guys are going to fail.
No,
it's actually quite the opposite.
Yeah.
I mean, we expect these guys to be good. But go ahead.
1 second. With Dynasty, though, you're always looking at your potential return.
Yes.
So right now with CJ Stroud being at 4. So you're telling me that he is the 4th overall quarterback without having done it.
Yeah.
Before even having done it.
Yeah.
Do I think CJ Stroud can do it? Very possible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was an absolute stud. Very, very possible. However, so he goes up 1 spot and he goes to 3. Say he beats out Hurts next year.
Yeah.
Moves up 1 spot. Is that much more value than you had before? I mean, granted, you have a now top 3 quarterback that's done it. There's more value for that. He wouldn't be here if that was this. He wouldn't be on this list for us.
Right.
If that was the case. However, the case, I think where you're going with this is where he has not done it and he's already selling point of his ceiling.
Yeah, he's at his value ceiling.
Yeah, he's going to go up 1 spot.
Yeah, that doesn't change anything for him.
Where's the value on that? Or he goes down.
Yeah, that's it.
He can only go down.
Yeah,
hence why he's on this list.
He's at the peak of his value. So, and to add on to that, right below him in tier 2 is Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and Anthony Richardson. I don't see much difference.
I do not. Between him and Burrow especially.
Yeah, they're very similar in value in my mind.
And actually, CJ's got better weapons this year.
He does. Yeah. Well, And yeah, especially because Joe Burrow lost Tyler Boyd, gained a rookie. We'll see how that plays out.
Joe Burrow lost Mixon. CJ Stroud gained
Added
a
Mixon.
Mixon.
Yeah, it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
But you saw, not to get too sidetracked, but Jamar Chase underperformed last year.
He was Burrowless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. So, and that also proves that even these pocket passers are not free of injury.
No.
And I think CJ missed a game last year too, due to some injury. But back to CJ Stroud, I mean, he did produce very well for a rookie quarterback. 4,100 yards, 23 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. You can't ask for a better production out of a rookie quarterback.
No, he broke the record.
Yeah. But the downside in his stats is he only had 167 rushing yards, 3 rushing touchdowns, which does help, but 0 rushing floor. I mean,
No, he only did when he had to.
Yeah, it's very Joe Burrow-esque.
Yep. Game's on the line. You have to get to that 4th down.
Yeah. He's gonna go for a few yards, but not much. And like Dustin said, the Texans did add Stephon Diggs, Joe Mixon. They're ready to compete right now. But with those added weapons, it could be a good time to also sell Nico Collins and Tank Dell. Because Tank Dell, I mean, he's really high in rankings right now for
He is.
number 2, number 3 wide receiver. I mean,
number 2.
I agree.
That's my outlook.
Yeah, I think Nico takes
takes a bigger hit.
Yeah, for sure. But he will continue. CJ Stroud will continue to be great in my mind. I think he's a great quarterback.
He'll have production.
Yes.
The point of this is that he can only go up so far. Why would you be left holding the bag if it doesn't happen? When he already has this value built in. Yeah. Looking at rankings right now, he's above. He's right. So like you said, he's right above Lamar Jackson, who's right above Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase
in overall rankings.
In overall Dynasty Superflex rankings.
Yeah.
If you could turn a CJ Stroud right now into a Justin Jefferson, a Jamar Chase,
that's crazy.
A CD. I mean, he's above all these guys in rankings. Screenshot these rankings and send the trade and send this with it.
Yeah.
And then be like, I don't want to do it, man. I love CJ, but maybe throw in a second too for next year.
Right. And
how could you pass that up?
Yeah, and honestly, if you can tear down to if you want to say this is a tear down to Jordan Love plus a weapon. If you need it, I lost my number 3 wide receiver.
Joe Burrow at a tight end.
Yeah.
Something.
I mean,
anything.
Honestly, you go down a little lower, you go for like a Kyler plus a better weapon. That's I don't see that.
That's a lateral move.
Yeah, you're not losing.
But it also fills those voids on your team.
Yes.
And
yes.
Worst case scenario happens, you're not left holding the bag on CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud has reached his max value. I mean, he's right under Patrick Mahomes. Even if he goes up and overtakes Mahomes,
it doesn't matter.
It does not matter. Not at all.
He goes up to be the 3rd best instead of the 4th best on rankings right now.
Yes.
It does not matter for your value. Exactly. Besides, I mean, you might be able to spin it. He's a couple years younger. But in that case, I'd still probably go get a Mahomes or a Josh Allen out of him.
Yeah.
I would.
And honestly, I mean, say you're good at quarterback. You have 3 elites. You drafted great last year. And CJ Stroud was just a good surprise for you.
You drafted right.
Yeah. Go get a CD Lamb.
Change your whole dynamic.
Yeah, change your dynamic. Don't
rebuild your whole team off of a trade.
Don't be afraid. Honestly, once these guys hit this kind of value, I'm out. Yep. I'm like, fire sale.
Yeah. Add value to the places that really actually matter. I mean,
yeah.
Even last year, he had a couple big boom games, which so sweet.
Yeah.
I had him on a couple teams. loved it. But other than that, it's 15. I mean, it's
average.
It's Trevor Lawrence numbers.
Yes.
It's Trevor Lawrence numbers, except outside of those 2 big boom weeks.
Yeah.
And you can maximize on that.
Yes.
Go get you a superstar out of that right now, and you could probably if it's a quarterback needy team.
Yes.
You can maximize the heck out of that and rebuild your whole team.
Yeah.
You could build around a CeeDee Lamb versus a rookie or a sophomore prospect. I think it's a great move. Great move.
And like you said, these guys are prospects still.
Sophomore season.
Yeah. This could totally flip around.
Mm-hmm. They could struggle this year with all these weapons, and it could be a new coaching system next year.
Yeah. You never know. I think we both think CJ Stroud is going to excel in this system.
I'm a big fan. Big CJ Stroud fan.
We love CJ.
I just want to maximize my value, especially in Dynasty. It's all about the value.
Yeah. In my mind, Dynasty is all about buying and selling.
Mm-hmm.
It's an auction house for me.
Yep.
So, all right, we're gonna move on now, and I got another spicy one for you, Dustin.
Give it to me.
Sam LaPorta, tight end 1.
I love this one as well.
We're talking peak value again.
Yep.
Let me read you his stats. 120 targets, good target share.
Mm-hmm.
86 catches, 889 yards, 10 touchdowns. I mean, it's amazing. It's tight end 1.
It is the tight end 1. And he's projected to be the tight end 1 again.
Exactly. And that's what I want to get into a little bit. We've seen many hyper efficient tight end seasons where the next year you see a fall off.
Mm-hmm.
And part of that fall off is, Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be the primary feature, I believe, in this running back room.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
And Jahmyr Gibbs only had 52 catches last year.
Yeah, he's got much room for that to go up.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm just going to, I'm a Packers fan. I've made that pretty clear. I'm going to bring you back to Robert Tonyan's fantastic season. It's not quite as good in my mind as what LaPorta just did. He put up 500 something yards and 11 touchdowns. Next year, his value was way high in draft season, redraft season. And have you seen Robert Tonyan have you noticed Robert Tonyan on the football field in the past few years?
Right.
No. So, and there's many other examples of that, but that was just one that popped into my head instantly looking at his stat lines. 10 touchdowns is a lot of touchdowns for tight end.
Yeah.
And if you take away 4 touchdowns, just 4, so you'd still have 6, which is above average tight end numbers.
Agreed.
He would be between David Njoku and above him would be TJ Hawkinson. Still top 5 tight end. But, is it worth grabbing? I think his ADP is like 29 right now in, startups and stuff like that. That's insane. I mean, that we're talking 3rd round.
Well, and don't forget, the least amount of points on your team outside of if you're playing with a kicker or a defense come from your tight end.
Yes.
You have one in most leagues. You have one tight end spot, even if it's a tight end premium.
Yeah.
There's not a ton of value in there. Whereas if you could flip that, because even if you go through his game log of his per weekly, there's some really good weeks, but there's also those weeks where he's put up 7 points.
There's 3s. It's boom bust.
Yeah.
It really is. It's like every other week.
Whereas I go back to the same thing. You can turn that into so much more.
Well, and okay, tear down to David Njoku and get a wide receiver or a running back out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're still winning. I mean, what I really like is Evan Ingram.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's gonna continue to get fed this year
with another fully capable quarterback.
Yes. And these, if you have a team that you're ready to win now, You've been that close to the championship every year. I mean, we're here to win championships.
It's the only reason we play.
I know we're talking dynasty, and if you have Sam LaPorta, you're not ready for a rebuild. You're ready to win now.
No, but you also got him for like a 3rd or 4th round draft pick in your rookie draft.
Exactly.
Don't forget that. You hit.
Take-
Awesome.
Take the win.
Awesome. However, keep in mind on rankings right now, he is right below. So he's 16th overall ranked.
Mhm.
15 is Tyreek Hill.
That's
14
insane.
is ETN. Below him is Malik Nabers, Chris Olave, Brandon Ayuk, Saquon Barkley, Drake London, Jalen Waddle.
Dude, if I could trade LaPorta for, I'll just say Ayuk and
Everything after Nabers was down the rankings.
Yeah, exactly.
So you go plus.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, you want the best tight end? I've got him.
Yeah.
What's it worth to you?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you kidding me? How many in your leagues? How many wide receiver slots do you got?
Yeah.
I got like 4 or 5 spots. I can play a wide receiver in my leagues. I would love to have another wide receiver.
Yeah, you get more points from wide receivers.
Yeah, and then go throw me a Dalton Schultz in there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many opportunities. Sam LaPorta. I mean, you're riding the hype waves.
Yeah.
Sam LaPorta took off. He killed it. I do not think that he's going to go down very much in production this year. It's not about that. It's about you're leveling up your team in other places. It's a mathematical equation.
Yes.
The least amount of points on your team are coming from tight end. If you can stack that with another wide receiver that's averaging 2 more points a game, you increase the overall production of your team.
And you get, in that deal, you're getting 80% of the points. Because, I mean, LaPorta, it's not like he broke fantasy and scored 380 points this year. I mean,
it's still a tight end.
Yeah, it's still a tight end.
It's still a tight end.
So, I mean, if you can add consistent points to that flex spot, even if it's just the flex spot, and get 80% of the production at your tight end, you're still going to win more games. I mean, I know you're hyped. You drafted Sam LaPorta, but, oh man, this is the peak of his value. Because he's only getting older. Yeah, he might be the next Travis Kelce. But, I mean, what are you getting for Kelce now that he's 35?
10 of his 18 games were over 10 points.
And that's great for a tight end.
For a tight end?
Clearly, that's great.
Fantastic. That's tight end 1.
Yes.
But if that was your wide receiver, you'd feel a little bad about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
50% of the time, he's going to score under 10 points. He's got the name value. He's got the hype. You need to ride that hype wave and maximize it, guys.
Yeah.
That's what this is all about. It's maximizing your returns.
And right now, honestly, the guys who have held Kelce for 4 or 5 years, etc., I mean, they're looking to get rid of him because they know he only has a couple years. Or even Mark Andrews. I mean, he's getting a little up there. You might be able to tear down into Mark Andrews or Travis Kelce even and gain another weapon or a future asset. Go sneak in one of these rookies that just got drafted or a pick. I mean, it's all about roster construction, but that's what I got on those two.
I was just trying to find Kelce on the rankings.
Yeah.
He's 70th overall, projected for tight end 8 at this point.
That seems low.
Yeah, I mean, it's now I'm clicking buttons. But you got to think you're under Kincaid, you're under Pitts
for sure.
You know what I mean? You're under. They have him Bowers. They have him under Bowers now. We're Dynasty. We love our rookies. Yeah, I get it
for sure.
I'm not going to shame you for it.
It's exciting.
I did a whole spiel on Bowers. I love Bowers. You got Kincaid, you got Mark Andrews, you got McBride.
Yeah. But if you're ready to win now, go win now.
Yeah. I like it. Anything else for him?
No, that's it.
Ride the hype wave. That's what this whole video is about.
Yes.
If you have tight end 1 on your roster right now, what can you turn that into?
Exactly.
You got a lot more. You have a lot more position players than your one tight end.
Yes.
That can build you points.
Yes.
Okay, guys. First up on my list. So I chose Achane. I know it's the same story. He's young. I drafted him. I got him, got him in whatever round at whatever pick. He fell to me and I love him. I get it. I totally get it. ECR ranking has him at RB8 for next year. Keep trade. I went ahead and put keep trade cut on here as well. If you're not familiar with keep trade cut, it's a ranking system and a trade calculator on there as well. And it values it based on when you go onto the website, you select there's 3 players pop up and you select if you'd keep them, if you'd trade them, if you'd cut him.
It's a great website if you've never used it.
So it's not real value, but I look at it as the community's value, as our league mates' values on players.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to keep that in mind. So if I'm looking at a guy on my team and I'm like, what's the community consensus on him? Keep trade cut, I feel like, is a very good place to find that. They'll also incorporate your ranking, your draft picks, all that kind of stuff in it. So I like to add that in because it kind of gives me a flavor of them. You know what I mean? Like, what's the vibe on them?
For sure.
How's the hype going? And you'll watch it too. They have on there, it's a sweet thing. It's like top 5 risers, top 5 fallers. So like one of the guys that we were looking at for another video was Rashi Rice. And when he was going through all of his, all this stuff going on, you just watched his stock just tanking because you just don't know. So it's a very cool. It's on the community's value. So ECR has him RB8. Keep trade cut has him at RB7. However, super high production. A few of the games, super mediocre production. A lot of the games. He was hurt for 5 games last season. And then in 6 of the games that he did play in, he actually got less than 10 carries per game. Less than 10, even in the games that he was there to play in.
Very low volume.
Very low volume. I mean, if you love just exceeding my total brain fart I'm having right now, like your ratio of carries per yards.
Yeah. Your yards per attempt.
Yeah, your yards per attempt, he's breaking the dang mold. It's nuts what he did. And it looks great. I think he's like first or second on yards after first contact, things like that. Yeah. He's fantastic. He's a speedster. He is on Miami. That's what they do.
Yeah.
But he's a smaller guy. So 5'9", 188 pounds. I think that does have a lot to go into with the 5 games he missed last season. Even on this, I hate to do this, but even with his lower production or lower volume, even those 6 games that he was in that had less than 10 carries, and with that amount of volume, he still ended up missing 5 games.
Yes.
Last season. On top of that, there's still Mossert in that backfield, and then this year they just drafted Jalen Wright as well, who's another elusive playmaker receiving back into that backfield. It's a crowded backfield, wouldn't you say?
It is, and I mean, if Achane has more injury issues, then Jalen Wright could step in and be a middle ground that they can utilize more, and he can hold up. He's not a big guy either, but I mean, that's the thing with this crowded backfield stuff. We saw it with Kyron Williams. It could be, Jalen Wright has a hot hand second half of the season. That hurts. I mean,
it does hurt. And Mossert, and I feel like the Jalen Wright draft and Mossert's getting older. He's one of the oldest starting running backs in the league.
Yeah, he's coming up on 40, I think.
So they're going to look at replacing that. They're not going to give Devon Achane this whole backfield.
No.
We already know that. There's no chance. They've shown no signs going that direction at all.
And his yards per attempt, I mean, in these games that he didn't get a lot of work, I mean, that yards per attempt comes back down to reality. 3.6, 3.4. And then if that's the side of Achane we see this year, you're back. I mean, that's Zach Moss numbers. That's Joe Mixon numbers. That's not the hyper efficiency. So if he doesn't capitalize, it could be really tough sledding.
And don't quote me on it unless you have it up. The Broncos game where they put up like 56 points. I'm pretty sure like 230 of his yards and 2 touchdowns came out of that one game for his production.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns, 200 yards, and he caught 2 touchdowns
Yeah. So
with 30 yards
that's a
receiving.
huge chunk of his production.
Yeah, it is.
This is more of a sell because it scares me.
Yeah.
I do not want to be left holding this bag
Yeah.
at all. With him being he's projected at RB8 for this season.
Yeah.
That hyper production, that not injury history, but with that build with that small workload, if he does not maximize every opportunity, he's not going to get even close to that.
And for that matter, besides that game, he only had 3 games with 100 yards.
Yeah.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, one of them was 150. I mean, it's awesome, but man, I mean, these stats are really scary. If you pay attention to, and after he came back from his injury, it was over a month before he ran for 100 yards again.
Mm-hmm.
And that was against Baltimore's defense.
How many carries?
On his 100-yard game?
Yeah.
That was 14 carries.
So we got 4 over 10.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just there's not a lot of food there on the table.
No.
If he does not stay insanely hyper productive.
And he is not a receiving back. Or they did not feature him in the receiving game. One of the two. I mean, his catches, these are...
Well, every time he touched the field, they were in the end zone, so...
For sure. And I mean, the most catches he got in a game was 5. But he got 1 to 5 all year. A lot of ones.
I'm afraid of... Same kind of thing with CJ Stroud. How much higher could he reasonably go?
Oh, this is absolutely 100% the peak for Achane.
So I saw a thing where it was like, if he stays healthy, he could easily finish top 3 RBs.
Yeah.
I don't see that. I don't see the hyperproductive staying.
No, the only place I'm drafting Devon Achane this year is best ball.
I could see that.
He can jump your points up, 100 points in basketball with bonuses and stuff like that, but go ahead.
Well, and the nice thing with Achane is when I'm in my leagues and looking at the rosters and looking at these guys, I'm like, he drafted him. And he had that like hyper productive. There's almost no way I can get him off of him. Yeah. Like when I'm like just like on paper when you're going through trying to build trades and you see him, you kind of just think like there's no way.
Oh, it would be if I got sent a trade with Devon Achane coming from the other team,
I'd be shocked.
Oh, I'd be so excited.
Same. Like I just has like I don't know why. It's just like there's so much like mystery and unicorn to it.
Yeah.
There's so much 100%. Unicorn to it that if you have him and you're okay or consider moving him,
yeah,
you can maximize it, man. He literally has like a unicorn effect right now.
Yeah, well, and especially with the way last year went for him, I got into the playoffs in this is a redraft league, but I got into the playoffs last year beating a team I should not have beat because he had Achane in the lineup.
Yeah.
I mean, that tells you something. It's not a reliable asset.
No, but it could win you your week. If that hyper productivity stays.
And if you pick the right week.
So, he's projecting RB8. I got some comps for you here.
Let's hear them.
RB7, so right above him is Saquon Barkley going to the Eagles.
Ooh.
Package something up.
Talk about name value.
Throwing a little pick there. I would much rather have Barkley with the 1000%. Eagles. Keep going up. I grabbed ETN, RB6. I would so much rather have the volume and efficiency.
Yeah.
And the efficiency of just that whole kind of system together. It wasn't even good last year.
No.
That system as a whole wasn't even good last year, and ETN was still productive.
Yeah.
Versus the hyper efficient. I mean, the Dolphins as a whole.
Yeah.
That's hyper efficiency of their
what
team.
They run on.
Let alone Achane's overly. I mean, just unicorn hyper efficiency that we saw last year.
Yeah.
Let's go backwards. Kyren Williams was an honorable mention for this show. I would rather have Kyren down tiering than Achane.
Yeah, because you actually get receiving upside.
Well, even with Corum going there, I would rather have that combo. Or, I just...
Yeah. Yeah, no, I get what you mean. I do.
I don't know if I want the unicorn on my team.
No,
I don't want the guy that's never been seen before and he's never had this kind of productive. He's broke the system.
Yeah.
I don't know if I really want that.
Well,
I don't trust it.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm too safe, but
but you can grab it other places. I mean, if you're sending Achane out, you can get a starter and then a spooky, scary flex. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, you can get that.
You grab a Gabe Davis.
You could get your tried and true and then get like a Jameson Williams trickle.
Yes, I'd love that.
You know what I mean? Like a Jameson Williams trickle on there. You got your high upside.
With
weirdness.
With a higher tiered player.
Yes.
Your running back position.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know.
Well, my other
no brainer.
Ken Walker's at RB10.
I'd rather run out Ken Walker.
I'd rather run out Ken Walker.
Have an extra JMO and that I could throw in the flex if I'm feeling good about it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And Ken Walker's still good to break off that 80-yard run.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, Ken Walker's not dead.
No, absolutely not.
No.
And so that's where I'm at with him. I think I loved Achane coming into him. I actually drafted him as a rookie on some redraft leagues. Dropped him. I don't want to talk about it. But it's just so hyper efficient, guys. And he's already projecting at RB8 for next season.
Danger zone.
Again, screenshot the rankings. Send it to them.
Yes.
Give me Ken Walker plus. Give me Ken Walker and JMO. You know what I mean? Like, just, you guys can work that.
And honestly, I think you could probably get more than Ken Walker and JMO. You never know. You got to look at your league.
You know your leagues.
Yeah.
You know your leagues. I think you could definitely, and like I said, he's got the unicorn effect.
Yeah.
I feel like no one's moving him and they should be.
Yes.
I know it's been talked about, but that's what I would be doing if I had him.
And honestly, this is a little sidetracked, but do not be scared to move running backs. I mean, they're for dynasty purposes.
They fall off a cliff.
Yeah, you have your Derrick Henrys. I'd even throw Saquon in there, where it's like, you're getting every year, you're getting consistent points. But, I mean, you think Achane's going to be that consistent guy? No.
Well, and even if it's not production cliff, it's value cliff.
Yeah, he's at peak value.
He could maintain, like Derrick Henry, for example. He could maintain production, but his value, no matter what, is declining.
Yes, it's you drove the car off the lot.
Exactly. Whereas Achane right now, you can spin it. Yeah. Oh man, we just saw the tip of the iceberg, buddy. Tip of the iceberg, man.
Yeah.
And I think that's real too.
And I mean, you
could probably sell me on that if you're my league.
We're telling people to sell the Ferrari. But they just drove off the lot. It's a hard sell.
But look at your needs.
Yeah.
Look at your needs on your team, and you can make that decision. I mean, you could turn it.
Yeah. Or little throwback. You could probably get, I don't know. You'd have to work it in with another quarterback. Go get CJ Stroud. You need a quarterback. Achane's a good tool to get there. You want LaPorta. He'd be a good tool to get there because I just don't see it. I don't see the future. The long-term future.
No, it's wild.
Yeah.
It's super wild.
So who else you got?
All right, my last one. Still got the new car smell. This last one still got the new car smell. You just drafted him and you're stoked on it. You sold yourself that Marvin Harrison wasn't the guy, and you drafted Malik Nabers.
Oh, dude, I just bought the Ferrari.
I know. I just got it.
Come on, man. I barely. I still got the knobbies on the tires.
No, you don't even have an indent from your elbow yet.
Haven't even had to fill up the car yet.
Okay, but let's think about this, guys. So right now on Fantasy Pros, on their overall Dynasty Superflex rankings, they already have Malik Nabers at wide receiver 10.
Wow.
Hasn't played a game. Hasn't played a snap in the NFL. Not to mention, he went to the New York Giants.
Oof.
With their quarterback situation, with their, overall system situation, with a bad vibe situation in New York, with Malik Nabers as well. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I've seen a couple like clips and things like that of people spinning what he's saying, and it seems like rumor mill, that he's not super thrilled to be there, doesn't know what his future looks like.
You were telling me this last week, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
I didn't even see this.
There's a whole storyline to it. But let's use it to our advantage. So ECR has him wide receiver 10. Top 10 wide receiver, not played a snap in the NFL yet.
That's insane.
Keep Trade Cut has him at 9. A little bit, just one spot higher, but that's surpassing. That one spot of wide receiver 9 opposed to wide receiver 10 is surpassing a current top 10 wide receiver.
Okay.
Keep that in mind. We're talking top 10 wide receivers here.
Yeah.
He is clearly overvalued for his production expectations.
Yeah, because Daniel Jones is yet to produce a number 1 wide receiver, right?
Daniel Jones is his current best case scenario.
I don't know. Wait, you got Drew Lock back there. What are you talking about?
Daniel Jones. Quote me on it. Daniel Jones is Malik Nabers' current best case scenario. For reasonable short-term production.
Yeah.
For reasonable.
Yeah.
So if you're just moving, you do a lateral move from Malik Nabers, you're still in a top 10 wide receiver, top 12 wide receiver range.
That's so crazy.
Has not played a snap in the NFL, guys. I know you just sold yourself on him. I'm sorry. I just don't see it getting better. I mean, say the Giants tank this year.
Mm-hmm.
They get a high draft pick again.
Get the QB.
And get a QB.
Yeah.
That could potentially be better 3 years from now.
Yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean there.
Unless you have another CJ Stroud.
Right.
We haven't seen a CJ Stroud production rookie year. He just broke the record.
Yeah, since Baker Mayfield, I mean, he was probably the last best rookie quarterback, maybe Joe Burrow.
Right. You got a high draft pick in your rookie draft, so you might be looking 3 years out. If you're not, I would make a move.
Well, and I mean, with where Nabers went, we're assuming Superflex Dynasty here, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So you're probably actually middle of the pack in your league, but
Superflex, you're looking top 4. First 4 picks. Nabers went in the first 4 picks on average from what I saw.
Wow. That's higher than I realized.
Yeah.
But
Caleb, Marvin, Jaden.
Okay, well,
Nabers.
Well, let's say you got a little bit of a value. I mean, I would try to win now. I don't know. I'm very win now. But if you're in a rebuild, I mean, you could turn your team around if you deal him.
You could.
I mean, you could think about where Cooper Kupp's going right now. What his value. Go grab Kupp, and you could rebuild your team with this possibly.
Plus, look at your needs, guys.
Yeah.
If you're planning for a 2030 win, lock it in, boys.
Oh man,
lock it in. You might have something there. You want to go up or down rankings?
I want to know who's below him.
So below him, you have Chris Olave at wide receiver 11.
Oh, man.
You have Brandon Ayuk at wide receiver 12. And you have Drake London at wide receiver 13 on Dynasty rankings. All young guys.
Okay, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Start listing them off below him. Do 5 or 6 players, and I'll say if I would make that trade.
You want all position?
Sure. So we're doing Superflex.
All right. So right below him on Fantasy Pros ECR, you have Jaden Daniels.
Yes.
Quarterback from Washington.
Of course.
Chris Olave.
Yes.
Brandon Ayuk.
Yes.
Saquon Barkley.
Yes.
Dak Prescott.
No.
Drake London.
Yes.
Devon Achane.
No.
Jalen Waddle.
Yes.
Rome Odunze.
No.
It's fair. Michael Pittman.
No.
Devonta Smith.
Yes.
So you're down 10.
I mean, what?
That's 10. That's 10 ranking spots below where Nabers is at. And then from there you have Kyron Williams, Brock Purdy, Ken Walker, DJ Moore, Trey McBride, DK Metcalf, Rashad White.
there's a couple players, even than the players you just listed off. I would, of course, yeah,
and you can go for a little plus on it. I mean,
I'm not saying straight across. Some of those were for sure straight across. Even Devonta Smith.
Yeah, I look at Dynasty in 2-year windows.
That's it.
Do you see hyper productivity out of Malik Nabers with Daniel Jones and the New York Giants? I feel like Malik Nabers is the new Saquon Barkley.
Oh, he's the face of that franchise for a little bit. Yeah,
so,
100%.
So your teams line up. Oh, next week we have the New York Malik Nabers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Let's watch that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like he's gonna be hyper targeted, but he's also gonna be hyper defended.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And just with this value point right now, I mean, again, screenshot it, send it.
Yeah, it's a no-brainer in my mind.
It's just, that value is just insanely high to me with the landing spot where you're not looking at seeing viable production for the next 3 years.
I don't think so. Say
unless they kill the draft and you get another, like, a step down from CJ Stroud.
Right, and you look at Daniel Jones, what he's been able to produce with these wide receivers. I would be shocked if Nabers. Okay, he's going to be. I'll say he's going to be a top 20 wide receiver. Okay, that's a big difference in top 10.
Yeah,
and
I don't feel great about that.
Yeah.
I don't.
But like you're talking Christian Kirk last year.
I can't remember.
You know what I mean?
Remember the last top 20 wide receiver out of New York.
Oh, Odell. It was Odell
with Manning.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm not even gonna look at the stats.
I'm not looking at any of that.
Yeah,
but it's just
Evan Ingram.
It's food for thought. It's food for thought, guys.
Yeah.
If you could turn Nabers in it's a great player. I like Nabers.
We like these players.
I also like winning.
Yes.
Look at this. Look at your team. Look at your needs.
Yes.
See what voids you can fill. That's this whole point of this. I know we love our young guys. That's kind of why I targeted them.
Yeah.
I targeted our young guys because we fall in love with them. We draft them, and we want to just hoard them. You know what I mean? We want to watch them live and die and win us points.
Yeah.
We also have to be a little bit realistic.
Yep.
Is kind of the whole point of this. Just him being right there with Olave and Ayuk and Barkley. That's even Drake London with Kirk Cousins going there now.
Yep.
Gimme, guys. So that's the end of my list, buddy.
I like it.
Okay, what you got to say to the people?
Well, so thanks for sticking around. Please take these into consideration. And hey, if we're nuts, if we've lost our mind on these cells, tell us. Comment.
Yeah.
Let's get a conversation started.
If you've drafted Nabers and you're fully sold yourself on it, tell me why. Tell me why I'm wrong. Why is he going to have the production and why is he going to break the mold of the New York wide receivers?
Yeah. And if you're getting some, you're putting these trades out there, putting them on the trade block, feel free. Send us your trade.
I'd love to do a trade review.
Yeah. That's why we love Keep Trade Cut. Is because it's like, oh yeah, I'll do that, and that.
Yeah. And
you know what I mean?
And we'll tell you, like, if you win something off of this, please send it to us. We can do
I would
do
love
one of these.
That. Yes,
we'll do a high five in your honor. Like, no problem.
That would be awesome. But no, and our next episode is going to be buy lows.
Yep.
So make sure to check that out. And yeah, so we love this stuff.
Yeah, this is fun.
Involve us in your leagues. Let's hear it.
Yeah. Show us the craziness you pulled off against your uncles and aunts.
But that's all I got for today.
Okay, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know. Send us to your league mates, whatever. Give us feedback, guys. We'd love to hear from you guys.
Yeah.
Peace.